let's tackle the issue properly. People in this country are not frightened of children. Most children are pretty decent. And we spoke as if to prove that just before the show to Nicola Gill, who's a 16-year-old who works on a campaign, called See the Good Behind the Hood. She's also elected as a member of the UK Youth Parliament. Here's what she had to say about this poll. Nicola, you're a member of the UK Youth Parliament. You're also involved in a campaign which says See the Good Behind the Hood. What is that all about?
Okay, See the Good Behind the Hood is a regional campaign we're working on at the moment. It aims to promote positive images of young people and to combat the negative perceptions of youth in the press and society. The reasoning behind the campaigning to improve the images of young people in the media is simple. Young people are being portrayed unfairly and inaccurately, and this is having a damaging effect on the community cohesion, where old people are fearing the young and the young people are mistreating old. We need a huge culture shift, and young people need...
Is it really as big a problem as people are making out? I mean, Bernardo's come out with this poll earlier on this week, which actually says just under half of people agree that children are increasingly a danger to each other and adults, which actually means that more than half of people don't think that. So in effect, Bernardo's have kind of set this agenda out and suggested that loads and loads of people are worried and scared of children, when in fact the majority of people aren't.
Well, a lot of adults believe that most young people are committing the crimes out there, and again, this is not true. It's only 12%, which is very little, but we're still trying to cut back this as we still feel we're being blamed more than the reality actually is.
I mean, isn't the truth that there are just some kids out there who are not very well behaved and who are criminal, in the same way that their parents are probably criminal and are not very good at looking after them?
Well, there are a lot of young people who do, they denounce antisocial behaviour, and therefore, you know, if their parents are also giving criminal offences, therefore young people might be doing the same as well, as they're looking up to these as their parents as role models, and yet this is then turning around and adults are blaming us for what's going on and how we're behaving.
Yeah, I mean, I've been reading a lot of stories this week about young people talking about when they go to shopping centres, when they go into corner shops, they're looked at suspiciously because people think they're going to nick stuff. Well, it's always been like that. I mean, when I was a kid, which was many years ago, I used to get treated like that as well. What's the problem with that?
Well, I think more it's the fact that the media is negatively portraying young people, and the adults are believing every word that the young people, that the media is saying. Only 12% of stories about young people are positive, and almost half the articles about...
I don't know if that's true, though. I mean, if you look at the way that we have all these award ceremonies, we have the X Factor, we have all these young kids coming forward and being on talent shows, you have things like the Daily Mirror's Pride of Britain Awards, where they have loads of young people who've done great things. You've got the Prince's Trust. I mean, there's an awful lot of good publicity out there as well, isn't there?
There is a lot of good publicity, but again, we are trying to raise that as there aren't enough, there isn't enough positive images of young people out there at the moment, as obviously a lot of adults are saying that we're yobs, we're antisocial, and we're just criminals in hoodies.
But the point is, there are some criminals in hoodies who are, young kids. So what do you suggest the media does? Just ignore them?
The people who are committing the crimes, they pick up the most, and even if it's a very small amount, which is a tiny minority of young people who are behaving badly, it's dangerous to stereotype the entire generation. A small minority of adults get involved in criminal behaviour, but we don't write off all adults. Do you understand what I mean?
I do understand. But the point is surely that, you have to accept that there are some young children who are criminals and who are just not very well behaved. And so whenever they do something, and it's very shocking if a 14-year-old beats somebody up or if a 10-year-old rapes somebody, it's a shocking story, so it's going to be reported. I don't agree with this idea that the entire mass of the British public think that all children are in some way dangerous. I personally don't believe that.
I don't believe it, and again, they're saying that we're dangerous, and that then people are saying that we're behaving like animals, and I honestly don't think that people are behaving like animals. If I would say young people are behaving like animals, I'd turn around and say, well, there are a lot of adults who do the same things, but nobody calls them that. Nobody says they're behaving like animals, and yet they can have the right to call young people that. I think, again, we can turn around and say, well, a lot of adults commit more well that the Youth Parliament are working so hard, they will understand that young people are putting their heart and soul in to try and make the press and media understand that they are not just, antisocial people.
Sure. And so, tell us a bit about the Youth Parliament. What do you guys do? Do you have the same holidays as the real Parliament? That'd be pretty good. Same expenses, maybe.
The Youth Parliament, it aims to give young people between the ages of 11 and 18 a voice, which will be heard and listened to by local and national government. They work nationally, locally and regionally, and young people will be heard by decision makers. We have a lot of events that we do. Soon we're doing a street party in Birmingham, which is to cut down on the university tuition fees, as we feel that's an issue for young people in Britain itself.
Now, if you have a street party in Birmingham and the police end up getting called because everybody gets a bit drunk and rowdy, then you're going to be going down the wrong way there, aren't you?
Yeah, don't worry. It's an organised event with basis consent, and it's happening during the day at 12 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And it's an event that we've been working a long time on, as we feel this is one of our major issues. Again, with the Super Good Behind the Hood, that's a campaign we've been working on regionally, and we have been doing different events, mainly in Birmingham because that's central for us all, but we've been doing different events for that, and we've been publishing we've been giving loads of publicity for that, as we've been doing other events in Staffordshire this week. We did a Bully and Buddy event, which was amazing. It was a quite historic event that happened. Youth Parliament are allowed, this year we had a historic event where we were discuss and decide and debate upon what their national campaigns would be this year.
Right, okay. And what about your own sort of life as a 16-year-old? Do you get put under peer pressure to do what some other people do and go out drinking and partying and smoking and taking drugs, or do they look upon you as a bit of a geek for not doing that?
There are a huge statistics I have, which is the Prince's Trust has found that less than 10% of young people carry knives, take drugs, or join gangs. I mean, it is a big peer pressure, and there has been a lot of times where you've been asked, do you want to do this, or have you ever tried this, and you're like, no. And again, then you do feel like, oh, maybe people might think I'm a bit of a geek if I don't do this, or I may look a bit weird, or I might stand out if I'm not doing that. But again, it's obviously every person's choice to do this, even if they are pressured in. But if you don't want to do it, you have to stand up for it, and it's the way as well you were brought up, I believe.
Absolutely. Okay, well, good luck with it all. And as I say, don't fall into that terrible trap of the politicians and blame the media for everything.